Assalamu alaikum. I'm Malik Hodge, an angel warrior of the Midwest and a messenger of the covenant, representing the messenger of the covenant, the breaker of the seven seals, the self-taught one, Master Suleiman, who has given us the Injil, the gospel of revelation, with the Injil key that gives us an understanding of the unsealed scriptures. This presentation is titled Standing with the Truth. Before we get started with that, we're going to begin with the Holocaust. The Holocaust. Excuse me. The 460 plus years of terror and horror that was inflicted upon the black man and woman. It's not a theory. This is not CRT, as they want to make it. These are facts. This is part of America's history. The taking, the kidnapping of slaves, bringing them across the Atlantic from Africa, killing over 200, they say 100 million, over 100 to 200 million died on the passage on the way here. No, this is not no theory. These are facts. This is the history of America. Brought us over here against our will. Dehumanized us, beat us, whipped us, tortured us. We were in a strange land that we knew nothing of. We wanted to go back home. Please, Jesus, which was the ship that they brought us over here on. Jesus, please take us home. But little did we know we had over 400 years that we had to be here. Everything that they can do to a people to break them, they've done it to us. They've put us in cages as babies and told us we were animals, separated our families. Excuse me. sold us off, branded us with names or brandings. Took us used us just like they use the animals. We were like the cattle. We were pups, pickaninnies, bucks. We ate from troughs. We ate literally the pig chitterlings, the shitterlings. We ate cow manure, cow chips. They gave us the minimum they could provide us with to keep us alive. Our lives was pure terror and horror. 365 days a year. From the beginning to the end. From our birth to our death. As you see, many, next to none, was released as free slaves. No matter what they've done. They was terrorized and afflicted by their masters. They were then terrorized and afflicted by their masters' children. Then they was terrorized and afflicted by their masters' children. We were being born into slavery. Living in shacks. The bare minimum. Living with a pair of shoes probably every 5 years, maybe. Running around barefooted, foot swollen up and beat up. No clothing. So they want to call this a theory. They want to call this slavery. They don't want their children to know what they were doing to us. However, they made their children watch as they lynched us. Made sure that they didn't blink an eye on watching a nigga get hung or get beat to death or get burned by a stake as they played the fiddle and the music and drank at the festivities, right as they watch for entertainment. We were on the chopping block. We were the entertainment for the evening. A good hanging, a good lynching, a good burning. Just something to clap and yell about and listen to a black man moan and holler for his life, or woman, or child. So, this is the conditions that we were in. This is what they done to us. They never meant to let us go. They never meant anything for us but terror and horror. So we're going to keep this in the forefront and keep letting our people know, because this is something they want to hide. They want to hide it from their children. They want to keep this hidden from the world as it didn't happen. So if we just don't talk about it, then, won't nobody be asking no questions. Won't nobody be turning over no rocks and stones to look for nothing that they ain't heard in a while. But this is American history. This is the fabric of the American culture was built on. This is what America's culture is still built on. The police policing the slave. They don't police massa. They don't police the white man. That's why the white man will go toe to toe with an officer. Take his gun. He's not gonna they'll wrestle and run and talk crazy to him. And you looking, we can't get away with turning our head too fast. You fool around, get killed. However, this is the Holocaust. We're not going to let it be forgotten. And you can act like it's a theory if you want to, but we'll see is the consequence of theory. And if the consequence is a theory, then you okay. So when you find out that this consequence ain't no theory, then keep that thought. Because when you find out that none of that mess can change the consequences for what you done to the black man and woman. This Holocaust, 400 years of terror, affliction. So, brothers and sisters, think of someone stealing your child, man or woman. You out in the field, busting your ass in the 100-degree weather, picking cotton. Sister, you doing something, or maybe out in the field, or wherever you at, and you didn't set the baby down in the basket while you tending to something of masses, and turn around, master and stole your baby. You can't find your child. You're terrorized. You're running around losing your mind. And you go and nothing that you did, your baby just up and gone. And while you looking for your baby, you running and hollering and yelling and trying to find your baby. Next thing you know, you're getting whipped, slapped down, made to go do something. You can't do anything. And later on that evening, Master and them loading up, headed on out to the bayou. To put your child in a basket or a kennel. Stick your child out there and let your child just yell and yelling as the voice vibrates off the water. And as the voice vibrating off the water, they begin to see large alligators getting into the water. And as they see them, they pick out the large one, which one they would like to catch, which one they're going after. And they grab your child, tie a rope around the waist of your child, and toss your child into the water. And your child begins to kick and move. Its natural instincts is to dog paddle. And this 500, 800 pound alligator, just comes up out the water, mouth open, and swallows their baby. And they pull in the rope as the alligator's mouth is locked shut on it, and pull it in and tie the alligator's mouth off with the rope, and then pickaxe the top of his head. But your child is used for alligator bait. That's just one of the things our children was being used for. However, the Holocaust, you think you gonna get away with doing our children and raping our women, sodomizing the brothers? You're not. The consequence is on you. All in 1 year, you're going to receive that whole 460 plus years. So, let us make sure that we remember the Holocaust, and the affliction and terror that our people suffered through to get us here today. Uh-oh. Give me a second. So let's get to our topic today. Standing with the truth. Alright. Brothers and sisters, that Holocaust is what producing this time that we're in today, the consequence for what they've done to us through that Holocaust. A time of unprecedented trouble is what they have received. going to receive for that. So, standing with the truth is our topic today. Give me a moment. This topic is timely. It's a lot of things that we're hearing. Can't prove any of them. You got the son of perdition, Louis Eugene Grounds, Louis Farrakhan. He's selling you Sunniism, Scientology, sharing with you that you're not going anywhere. He's been living off of you. And he's been fooled and duped a lot of brothers and sisters. Get up there and make it sound real good, like he has your best interest in mind, when he's using the messenger's name for bait. And pulling the rug off and under your feet at the same time. So he knows the sound bite of the messenger's name and the messenger's teachings and the teachings from Master Fard Muhammad, this truth that is in those teachings. However, he's took those teachings of that sound bite and has put a spin to it, to where he's not teaching the same teachings that the messenger's teaching. He's not teaching the same teachings that Master Fard Muhammad taught the messenger. He denounced Master Fard Muhammad and the messenger. And he didn't just do it in 1975. He did it again and again. He shared with you that the black man was the worst off. So the message was sent to him first. And after that, he was told to go in out throughout the world, go to the Gentiles, go to the Mexicans, go to the Puerto Ricans, go to the Caucasians, go throughout the world and teach this teaching. So he's blending, or he's speaking from the sealed Bible perspective. And he's not speaking from what Elijah Muhammad taught. He has taken and removed you from, remove the people from the supreme lessons. Uses the messenger's literature to get you in his mosque. He doesn't call his temples temple, he calls them mosques. So he uses the messenger's literature to get you in his mosque. Then he gives you Scientology, Sunnism, a blend of his own messages, his own creation of from his own mind, and then presents it to you as it's some divine message. However, did he stand with the truth? So you ask yourself. That's why this one is called Standing with the Truth. In 1975, when the messenger was taken, in Lewis at Savior's Day, at his swan song, or his swan song, he said he was the head. No, Malcolm was the head spokesperson. But I was Elijah Muhammad's mouthpiece. I was personally the speaker for the messenger. I had the highest title, numero uno. I was. So anything that had to do with the nation had I was Elijah Muhammad's mouthpiece. It had to go through me. I was the one. So, in the absence of the messenger, all the nation's assets and so he made it known that he was the one left in charge. since he was the head spokesperson, the head minister, the mouthpiece of the message. He spoke on behalf of Elijah Muhammad. He was the spokesman. Just like the scriptures share, Aaron was Moses' spokesperson. And just as he did, as the chief demon done, Louis Eugene Brown's Legion, he, in the presence of the messenger, spoke well. But in the absence of Moses, in the absence of the messenger wasn't gone no time. And Louis Farrakhan, Legion, turned hypocrite, admitted it, denouncing the teachings from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, denouncing Master Farad Muhammad, and him and Wallace wasn't even in good standings when the messenger passed. He was kicked out the nation. Now, in watching the transfer in power, these brothers grabbed Wallace and hoisted him up. And Louis, he allowed that to happen. This is supposed to be on his watch. And as he say, he was a soldier. He got all this lip service when he's trying to put his doings of and to overshadow what he did. He's always trying to drag Malcolm in and put him in front of the bus to keep you from seeing what he done, his lies and his deceit. Well, Malcolm done this, and I said I'm not gonna tell nobody but the messenger. But soon when the messenger passed, you didn't stand up for the members. You didn't stand up for the truth. You didn't even speak out. How was you the voice, the mouth of the message, the one left in charge and didn't say, but Wallace ended up in charge and you was his head imam. And them brothers that hoisted him up. The nation was full of demons and informants, spies, infiltrators that the government had paid to participate. And these brothers turned on what brought them out overnight. Turned on the whole, turned on the messenger, turned on the teachings overnight. And then turned the nation into something called the millennials. Now let's speed this up. Standing with the truth. The truth came. The truth was brought to us. Master Farah Muhammad brought the truth to the black man and woman, raised up one from among us, and he taught us the truth. Taught us that we're living out Exodus, that we're living out scriptures, that we're living them out, that the scientists wrote the scriptures for the future in future tense, not past tense. Now, why would you ask yourself, if you have all this knowledge and you're leading a people, you're leading and causing a situation, why would you be speaking about or writing down something that happened years ago? Why are you keeping track on the past? See, that doesn't even make sense. So we're living out the scriptures. Everything the scriptures tell you what is to take place, what's going to take place. So how are you reading Revelations and things that are going to happen, or is to happen at the end of time, but you haven't put all the other things together? However, a time of a people being inflicted and enslaved for 400 years through the scriptures. The messenger took the teachings from Master Farah Muhammad and raised us up, started cleaning us up. In the time of the messenger, 1930s, when he first got started in the 30s, then they put him in jail. But in the 30s, America was still old, dirty America. America was still lynching, butchering, dehumanizing us, sodomizing us. We still didn't have any legal laws. We was in the Jim Crow era. They were still doing whatever they wanted to do with the black man and woman. However, this interpretation of the scriptures began to catch on. The messenger teachings eventually started changing the thinking of the black man. It took a minute. He had to keep teaching because the knowledge, it took years for the mind to catch up and react to the knowledge. So, and by the time it caught on was in the 60s. The late the 50s, late 50s into the 60s. So this interpretation of the scriptures began, it raised the black man up to where the people around the world started noticing and looking at the black man of America, the black man and woman. They started hearing this interpretation and started being able to put, one and one together to get to two. They started to see and hear of this affliction that America was America was afflicting these people. They started being able to see on television beatings and hangings and things that America was doing, bombing, public lynchings. White men just doing as they will to the black man and woman. And not suffering any consequence. Not knowing that there was no laws even in place for the black man. However, this interpretation of the scripture, this truth, started moving it moved the minds. It had people way over. It had the Chinese and all. It had crossed barriers to Japan, China, about the black man and how powerful the black man is and who the black man is. And the understanding that came with who the black man is, who we are, came the understanding of who the devil is. Oh, they didn't want to hear that. But the scriptures in reading, it started to identify and give the identity of the true seed of Abraham. And the interpretation that we're living out Exodus and that we're the true seed of Abraham. And that we've been in 400 years of slavery. and that we had been inflicted, and that we were took from our land and brought to this land, all these things started adding up. It started being able to be added up. So the truth started unlocking the minds of the people around the world, looking on like, they're adding up. 1 and 1 is 2. And then America and the rest of the world, the other nations, had to go into motion to change their interpretation, or to change the knowledge of the truth that Master Farad Muhammad gave to the messenger, gave to us through the messenger. So they started a counter intelligence program where they had literally went to war with Islam. They had to stop this teaching. They had to stop the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. They had to stop the messenger's teachings. They had to stop Master Farad Muhammad's teachings. So they took false Israel, and Britain and America stuck false Israel over in the Middle East. And not only they stuck them over there, told them that they're the true seed of Abraham. Then they bagged them up. They supported and bagged. They supported them and bagged them up ever since they've been there. They gave them security. They fed them. They helped them keep money, food. They have ensured that they have ensured their existence in Palestine. However, standing with the truth. We're standing with the truth. False Israel have never been in slavery for 400 years. And if they say they was, and it happened hundreds of years ago, then we wouldn't be in this condition. This wouldn't be taking place right now, because after that 400 years, this plague, a plague that killed the firstborn, was immediately released. Now, after the true seed of Abraham went through that 400 years, this time of judgment, the war in heaven, the Armageddon, the war of Armageddon, and the apocalypse. These things were to take place after the 400 years. So, how do you get to just pop out what they say 4 to 6 million people were put in gas chambers? They wasn't dehumanized. They wasn't raped, sodomized, beat. They language wasn't took from them. They God, their nature, their culture, none of that was taken from them. None of it. Matter of fact, they didn't even go through no affliction because they was put in a gas chamber and dead before they knew what was taking place. They was just gas. They was slept. They put to sleep and died. But afflicted for 400 years. Dehumanized. All these things that the scripture said will take place with the true seed of Abraham is shared. So after that 400 years, which we have the 1619 Project, Thomas Jefferson started this 1619 Project. Thomas Jefferson, the president. So the 1619 Project is the starting point of slavery, of the actual slavery of the time period. So from 1619 to 2019 is what? 400 years. Now, we're not making up anything. We're just giving you the facts, the truth. After, in 2019, the plague that came and killed the firstborn of Egypt or other Caucasian nations, which went through all the Caucasian nations and agents, went through all their nations, was the plague, C-19. That Wuhan stated in the beginning. The black nurses and doctors is working hands on. We have not seen any symptoms or no of any kind, and they've been working hands on with the virus and the infected. And our survey and notes, other doctors and nurses have encountered the virus. Some are definitely sick and some have passed. In our analysis, we think that the black man and woman are immune to this plague. So Wuhan started evicting, kicking black men and women out their countries, out the country. And they want nothing to do with us. Y'all carriers. Then you look over in Africa, Haiti, all throughout Africa. Unless you get down to South Africa, you know what type of people is in South Africa. Demons and devils. However, the plague wasn't affecting them. Wasn't any mass death, mass breakouts. None of that. In no way, in nowhere. So they begin to say, well, blacks in America are dying at a higher or alarming rate other than faster than anybody else. but they're giving us percentages. And why would blacks in America be dying in an alarming way when the black man and woman over the rest of the planet wasn't even affected, wasn't being affected? So they go out and get all these vax, all these jabs, millions and millions of these big pharmacies, and how much money that they gain off of this vax. Pfizer and Johnson and Johnson and the rest of them. The other one or two. However, they put all this money into something. But you look all over throughout the European nations, and the plague is decimating them, taking them out. The elderly. They told you when it first started, who was it killing? The elderly. Who are the firstborn? The elderly. The firstborn of Egypt. The firstborn of the Caucasian. Going through decimating their countries. Shut down their whole economical system. To this day, they haven't recovered, and the world is not the same anymore. As of today, there are many variants that keep splitting off and keep affecting them, and it's going to stay like that. It's going to keep like that. It's going to keep happening, and it's going to get worse as we get into these other plagues. But we're sticking with the truth. We're running with the truth right now. We're standing up with the truth. So, false Israel wasn't passed over. None of the European nations was passed over. But they know about the Passover. They live the Passover. But they see they're at jab, double jabbed, double boosted, extra booster, probably 5-6 jabs into it. However, the black man and woman over the country, over the world was passed over. So much so they sent a hit squad to take out Haiti's president because he wouldn't allow them to bring the jabs in. They killed African leaders over not wanting the jabs in their countries. So they had this millions and millions of dollar campaign pushing this jab. All their sports, they got their biggest names out pushing their jabs. Still pushing it. You still on the radio, everything. This is how it's going. You hear it on the radio. That means every time the radio station, the owner of these stations, these broadcast systems, you think we already know who owns this stuff. But every time they already prepaid. So when they go through their sponsors package, they have to tell you what the sponsor, um, where they get their money from. They gotta say what they need to say. So even every day, even right now, they still telling you that the vaccine, yeah, we got vaccines in, and you can go over here, jabs, and you can go here and get them, and here. The president double jabbed. Boosters didn't stop him from getting COVID. What is top shit keeps you alive? It didn't stop it. However, the facts are where we are in time. After in 1619, 2019, after that, the plague came. Now, we've been letting it be known to keep your eye on the spark of the JCPOA that it will have on the war in the Middle East with Iran, Syria, Michael, that will be going to war with the dragon and his angels. The dragon is the House of Assad, Britain and America, and false Israel. So this is what's been on in play since 2020 rolled in. We've been sharing this with you. So since Biden entered office, they've been going back and forth about this reviving this JCPOA, the 2015 nuclear program that Barack had signed, which put Iran and Syria, or Iran up under the foot of the nations. So, this JCPOA and sharing with you from 2020, from the start, when no one else was telling you anything. Master Suleiman, the breaker of the seven seals, in 2019, I was enlightened from hearing this truth and just kept my eye open and my ears and seeing the things that was being shared coming more into a vision, happening. Now, who else could be the true seed of Abraham? Who else went through 400 years of terror and horror? Who else was taken away from a land and brought to a land and inflicted for 400 years? Who else did that? You can't go find no proof nowhere in no history of anybody going through this. And then, if that was to take place, all the things that happened after the 400 years, the ending, the judgment, the taking out a civilization, taking a world and bringing in a, a new world and bringing in this new heaven and new earth. And Revelations are all the revealing of all things. How do you make these things up? How do you all these things fit with the time? All these things fit with what's taking place. So the JCPOA, the Injil, the unsealed scriptures, the 7 seals that has been broken by Suleiman or Joshua, the one that came after the messenger of the covenant, the one that is reminding you of the Abrahamic covenant, the one that is bringing that to fulfillment. No one else was sharing this but Suleiman. So, don't take anything. I'm not going to tell you to go get or what. No, stay away. It's passing us over. Don't do anything. Don't worry about it. If you catch it, you're not going to die from it. You may get sick, but they're going to die. They're going to be dying from it. And then we've been speaking about the JCPOA consistently. We've been speaking about the timeline and the events in sequence that they will go into. We've been telling you about Russia. We've been sharing with you about China, about Iran and Syria, all these things before you even heard before any of these things broke out. So where is this information? Where is this truth coming from? We're just standing with the truth, giving you the truth. You're not making anything up. You can't make these things up. We're bringing in this vision. The vision of the Abrahamic covenant. We're making these things happen. This thoughtmosphere, this 360 degrees of knowledge that the son of Suleiman or Joshua or Jesus has given us and is giving us these broken seals. Break that where you can get understanding of the scriptures, understanding of the time by using the angel key, giving you the understanding of this powerful ark. You know, the lost ark that they've been speaking about and chasing about, thinking it's a table or some type of apparatus that has majestic powers. in it. However, this ark that in its design is designed with the angel key, and yes, it gives you your mind, it gives you understanding, it gives you knowledge. That's the most powerful expression on the planet. It rules all other atmosphere. The thought sphere. Thought is it's what thought rules every other atmosphere. Thought. You have to think everything. You have to put everything into motion. It all came from thought. Nothing just came out of nowhere. We gave it structure, order. It's the most powerful attribute or attribute in the universe. And he shares that with you in the scripture. First it was the Word. The Word was God, and the Word was with God. However, let's move along quicker. And we have to sum this up. Now, we're at the JCPOA. We've been sharing with you that Iran is not going to go back up under this JCPOA. Iran is not going back up under the foot of these nations. The war in the Middle East is what's brewing. This will be the breakout. This will be the spark to the war of Armageddon. So, since 2021, now how long have Biden been in office? They've been speaking about this JCPOA. Now, where are you at? Where are we at? They're not going back into it. They're at the last straw on trying to revive this JCPOA. And everyone that has a part in it is still that there's no agreements being made. And the ones that are carrying out or being the buffer in between America and Iran and the European Union, Joseph Borrell said he doesn't see. I mean, he blamed America for getting out of it, but he doesn't see Iran going back into the JCPOA. So, the JCPOA, what is they saying is going to take place if Iran don't sign the JCPOA? That they're going to go to war. They're going to have to go to a military conflict with who? False Israel, America, Britain, the House of Saudi Arabia, and another group of Sunni Muslims that made an agreement with false Israel called the Abraham Accord. What is the accord of Abraham? Why is it an Abraham accord? Because the accord is against an alliance against the true seed of Abraham. Every one of them have a common enemy and a common reason why they don't want the true seed of Abraham returning to their land. All these nations have gained what they have because of what has happened with us, and they will lose what they gain. So we are not just for America an existential threat. We are an existential threat to nations, because we will be a limit taking them and us returning to our land, and they're living on our land, and they have lived well on our land. They have been living in mansions, gold stews, and gold rubies and gold, just living lavishly, while we over here living in shit, being treated like shit. Do you think they want to give that up? Do you think that false Israel, knowing that they're lying, they have stole our identity? They've been set over there in Palestine, not even in Arabia, not even in the land of Moses that the scriptures share where it is. It gives a full description of what between this river, the great river Egypt, and the great river Euphrates. But they're sitting over there in these people's land, terrorizing them, being supported by Britain and America, Gog and Magog. Being a snare or a problem in the region. Eyes of Gog and Magog in the region. So we are a threat to their civilization, because they don't want it. The scriptures tell you, when you read the Abraham, the story of the covenant, Pharaoh he didn't want to let them go. He said no. They wouldn't let them go. Why is it so simple? If they didn't need them, or why wouldn't they let them go? They wouldn't let them go, and they would not let us go. They know that our rise is their demise, or is their existence, their civilization, their world comes to an end. Comes to an end. These nations know that their world comes to an end. Everything is about to change. So much so, America Joe Biden had a group of people come in and speak with him on America's democracy is cheating, and that America's is the system of America is as fragile or very similar. They use these as these two examples to identify what they needed to convey to the president. That America's democracy or system is like or feeling the same type of pressure or more that they were feeling in the time of the Civil War or the fascist period when they had to go to war with Germany. They didn't want to. It was a struggle to get them to go to war. But the thing about why would they use this analogy of the Civil War? Because the problem of the Civil War, what caused the Civil War? What was behind, what actually the Civil War wasn't, well, we can say slavery or the black man and woman. And the effect that the black man and woman was having on the economic and what was taking place in the country. So just using that is letting you know that the black, from the scripture standpoint of where we at are, and that they understand that more than you are willing to understand, because the truth is hit right in your face, but you're not accepting it. However, the black man and woman is a problem. They're letting you know that the Civil War, it's like the Civil War. It's, you don't know what's being said in the background in their circles, because you're not in their circles, in the demon circles, in the devil circle, in the master circles of what's being said by the governors, the government. People seeing what's causing this, the fall, the breaking, what is pressure, putting this pressure on America's system. And they see it. They understand that the black man and woman is an existential threat to our life, our civilization, our world. This is what the scriptures let you know, that what is going to take place in this time. And the scripture said they had a plan, that they were going to scorch the planet. But they had a plan. They got to have a plan. They're trying to make war with Russia. They're making war with China, antagonizing them. They're at war, a proxy war that they're supplying with Russia. They spent $24 billion over there. No one else has spent no money like that. No one else is consistently sending weapons. Ain't no telling how many mercenaries and things that come from America and other places that America has funded these mercenaries. They're funding the war between Ukraine and Russia. So no one's trying to persuade you to do anything. But we are providing the facts and the truth that will cause you to open up your eyes, open up your minds. Look around you and see where we are from the scripture standpoint, and where we are in the real world, not no spook world, not outside of reality, not in the football and basketball world, all out in playing, but in the world that has that is directly connected to what's going to take place in the next year, inside of the next year. Are you looking? Are you paying attention to what's taking place around you and what's causing it? Knowing that everything, the truth, is only being made to be seen clearer and clearer. It's coming out more and more. Everything that we've been sharing with you, now you can see it right in your face. This war, Middle East, the war of in heaven, it's going to spark and cause the war of Armageddon, which will first be the war with Russia. They're going to immediately go, America is going to immediately go to war with Russia after this being kicked out the Middle East. After Michael and his angels take out Saudi Arabia, kick Britain and America out the Middle East, siege and destroy false Israel, and those other 6 Sunni nations that have made their bed with Satan. So when you see that, that's going to be the shock of the hour. That shock is going to bring it's going to cause all the people on the planet to be able to see without a shadow of a doubt who the true seed of Abraham is. False Israel has been destroyed. America and Britain has been kicked out the Middle East. Saudi Arabia is no longer they've been kicked out. They've been destroyed. And the Shia Muslims have taken full control of the Middle East. Immediately when you see that, They're going to be able to see themselves. America. There will be no denying of who they are. Their hearts will fail because of the truth. The truth is going to cause their hearts to fail because they're going to be able to look in the mirror and see we're the devils that have been afflicting God's chosen people. And they're going to turn and try to eliminate us out of jealousy, hate, and envy. Those niggas are God's chosen people. Yes, you sure ain't. Look at you. Look at your nature. There ain't no righteousness in you at all. None whatsoever. The righteousness that you have, you took it from us and dirtied us up. Put your mess on us and cleaned yourself up. However, this is just the truth that we're giving you. There's nothing made up. There's nothing something all out the blue or something have to happen. This is nothing but the truth that can be proven. Not no spook, not TDJ talking about something he can't prove. Some Jesus in the sky, the same Jesus that they enslaved you with, the same indoctrine that they was giving you all from the beginning up until the day, that hasn't done anything for you but kept you a slave, kept you in check, kept you in this American dream, kept you in their mind state, kept you in their vision. Where was Jesus at? Where was Jesus at? He's been there. They've been hollering Jesus the whole time. They've been indoctrinated with Jesus the whole time. Jesus didn't bring you all the pressure from Master Farad Muhammad. The truth that was given that made them, that the messenger built a nation. And the truth started raising up the black men to where they had to go to war. They had to start a whole, they was pressured to make some changes so they can counter and get their demons, the black face demons, out of 400 years of rape. Master's children, they had to utilize him to set him up, to make him sit in and try to stand up as he's the original man, and he's not. He has the same nature and the same will and want that his father has. Slave master, the devil, he's the devil's son, the devil children, demons. It's 17 million of them. 17 million original. One demon for every original man. So the Nation of Islam, set up by the God, is what brought us out, started the Exodus. The God came and gave us the knowledge of self, taught one from among us, and built a nation and gave us the mind power, the thought hemisphere to Start to stand up and start being yourself again. Until the chief demon, Louis Eugene Grounds, and Wallace took the nation to zero. Then this Superman had to come clean us up. The fuller of soap. He had to come clean us up. Clean up this mess that the chief demon and Wallace done to the nation. And he had to remind us of the covenant. Remind us of our land. Remind us of the truth. And he, with that, given us our minds back. The unsealed scriptures, which nobody else could break. No man in the heavens or up under the in the heavens or up under the earth could not do it. Only one man could do it. And he would give us, we're in this time of revelation, the understanding of all things. The truth of all things, the truth, the mathematics to it. The existential threat. Why we're an existential threat to their civilization, to nations. Why we've been treated like this. Why are we hated by many? You are the blessed ones. You're the true seed of Abraham. You're the Levites, the Levite priest tribe that was grafted in to the true seed of Abraham. We're all in this new ark, going to be forming this new ark. But this is the truth. These things can be proven. And in any day, like I said, we're not living to or trying to persuade you. But when you see that abomination of desolation, when you see that war in the Middle East, when you see false Israel kicked out, when you see Saudi Arabia taking down false Israel, America and Britain, when you see them kicked out the Middle East, when you see false Israel sieged and destroyed, the truth is being given to you. Just the thing is, many of us will lose our lives for the lack of knowledge. Many of our people are going to lose their lives because they're not receiving, they're not listening to the truth. They're too busy playing basketball, worried about football season starting back, worried about who got traded to what basketball team and who got traded to what football team and who's playing, who got traded on the baseball teams and who got things that don't have nothing to do with reality. Things, a matrix that they put you in to keep your mind conditioned to something that's not even real. You're being put in place to deteriorate your mind, to keep you away from reality, to keep you away from the truth. Has nothing to do with your existence. Has nothing to do with what's taking place in the world. You're being used. Everything about this nation, about this world, about this satanic world, how can you find any peace inside a place that controls you in every manner, robs you in every manner, displaces you, wants to kill you? You have no peace here. Your children have no will never find security, nothing in this system. Nothing. This system takes. Nobody ever has anything. It's a take back. This is an evil society, an evil world. However, I gotta bring this to a close. Standing with the truth. This is only the truth. The truth is what you can get and prove mathematically. You get events, people, places, scriptures, unsealed scriptures, things that you can't do. You can't change. You can't make. We're bringing this in. We don't have to persuade. We're making this happen. You're gonna get to it because you can't stop it. However, we're letting you know what's taking place, but you can't stop it. It's inevitable. Resistance is futile. It's you can't do anything. You don't have the mind, the thought power, the thought atmosphere to do anything. They don't have the thought. They've been given very little. So with that, I'm gonna bring this to a close. I'll greet you as I came. I see we're an hour and 42 minutes in. I'll greet you in the green words of peace. Assalamu alaikum.